Now, for all of the talentless hack showrunners that have come out and derided the fans after the release of their horrifically awful shows, this is probably one of the more graceful ways to approach said criticism. Now, we've been beset, not just in 2024, but in previous years, like 2023, the year of the flopbuster. Hello. It's been a rough few years in Hollywood when it comes to making big budget movies and TV shows work, and Rings of Power is probably the most egregious example. This show is just bad. Oh, it's so bad, but it's something that I've been immersed in the past few weeks since its release, watching just about everybody's reviews I can possibly watch. Like, I'll just throw them on in the background. It's not so much watching as it is listening, but it's just, it's so bad, and it makes my heart hurt so much because it could be so much better. It's just run by idiots, people that should have restraining orders placed on them to keep them away from any writer, 500 yards away from any writer's room that they possibly can, brought up on charges of crimes against humanity for how incomprehensible their scripts and their unfaithful their adaptations are. There's nothing about Rings of Power that makes a lick of sense at all. But hey, there's going to be a big bombastic fight to cap off this season. Either it gets started this week with episode 6 leading into 7, and then it's, the big fallout episode of 8, where here's my big brain prediction, because now that we've seen, all 19 of the lesser rings formed, I think we're probably going to have the one ring formed at the end of the year. Like, it's so stupid. They're just running through all the source material in order to get to what exactly? Doubling down on 5 seasons that nobody's going to be watching at the end of this. But hey, at least there's still the hate watchers that are out there, which this is just, like, it's stupid, but it's the most graceful way that we've seen anybody, because Leslie Headland with the Acolyte, okay, there was no tactful way to approach any of that stuff, or hell, even Amanda Stenberg, with her stupid Instagram video, and then also her diss track against the fans. It's like, hey, when everybody was criticizing the Acolyte, May and Osha, they weren't even in the top 50 reasons why nobody liked that show. But all of the Marvel slop that failed, you had Nia DaCosta, bag on the racist, sexist fans, yeah, sure, whatever. Every other previous Star Wars project, you had Ewan McGregor come out, say, stop hating on my Obi-Wan show because, Reva's a dumb character. Stop doing that. I don't like that. I want a season 2. And now he's back out there on the stump saying, hey, we'd really like a season 2. Or it's like, well, we really don't want to see the continuation of the Reva story, so you can tell your story walking, you absolute shill. He didn't apologize for that, and now Star Wars is its own little corner of insanity that we can peek in from time to time, but that's the difference, right? Star Wars fandom has been completely and totally taken over by the weirdos who wanted the Acolyte to be made, but then at the same time, there aren't enough of those weirdos that are out there to keep a show on the air, so now they're just going to try to destroy anybody who's left that wants the franchise to be repaired. That's the good thing about Tolkien. Okay, that's the good thing about the Lord of the Rings fan base, is they're not going to take any of this crap. It's like whenever the Rings of Power is referenced, it's never put under the umbrella. As much as Amazon, Jeff Bezos, Payne, and Patrick McKay want it to be a Lord of the Rings production, no, it's Rings of Power. It's a fanfic. It is a $1 billion stage production put on by some of the most laughable actors and actresses that you guys could round up. But oh boy, doesn't some of that CGI look good from time to time. So now they're out there trying to explain how season 2 is somehow worse than season 1. But hey, the Rings of Power showrunner is happy for people to hate watch and make YouTube videos. Yeah, because he wouldn't have an audience if nobody was out there hate watching. But here's the thing, people wanted to like this until they seen it, and it's like, we're not going to like this, are we? It wouldn't be a journey through Middle Earth without some trolls along the way, all like the troll that we have that we're trying to base it off Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad. I want to die. Keep making those videos, folks. Oh, I will. I definitely will. It's not the most popular subject on my channel, but I really like Lord of the Rings. I really like the world that Tolkien created. I don't like what I don't like what J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay have created. Even though they're trying to wear it as a skin suit, even though they have what they call her Galadriel, but there's nothing Galadriel about her. Rings of Power Season 2 is already proving to be a big hit for Prime Video. I beg your pardon, okay? Earning some significant streaming ratings. Yeah, they are significant if you compare them against, indie projects. However, there's a big slice of the Tolkien fandom who make their less than positive thoughts very clear on the show, on social media, and YouTube. But rather than ignoring this part of the community, co showrunner, J.D. Payne, said that he's actually more than happy to have them along on the ride, because any publicity is good publicity, right? Speaking to The Hollywood Reporter, Payne, who makes the show with his fellow creator Patrick McKay, had a perfect response. The fellowship had to look at each other, and those who support it and remembers what it's fighting for, Payne said. And when we see that millions of people are watching this and responding so positively to it, that's who we're fighting for. And those who watch every episode and negatively write about it on social media and make YouTube videos, we're happy to have you guys too. It wouldn't be a journey through Middle-earth without some trolls along the way. If he would have stopped there, if that would have been his first remark in regard to fans or anti-fans, however he wants to go ahead and talk about the critics, well, that would be one thing. But this is also the same asshole at the conclusion of the first season who went out and said that anybody who disliked the show was patently evil. That's a little bit different. You think I'm being hyperbolic? Lord of the Rings TV series, The Rings of Power, had a strong start, but hasn't landed with everyone. Some have criticized the show for a number of reasons, and showrunner J.D. Payne, same guy, says he can't understand how anyone denouncing the show thinks that they're fighting a good fight. The spirit of Tolkien is about disparate people who don't trust one another and looks different from one another, finding common ground and friendship and accomplishing big things. That's the spirit we've tried to inculcate into every single common period in this show. Well, you didn't. That this aspiration would be offensive to people and enraging them, that's very hard for us to understand. What are they protecting? I don't see. Now, people who are saying these things think they're fighting for good. Even if you're fighting for something you think is good, you don't have... if you do something worse than the fight, then you become evil. I don't see how people who are saying these things think that they're fighting for good. It's patently evil. Think I was being hyperbolic? That's him in his own words. But he's also talking about how this resonates with millions. We're seeing millions of people watching and responding positively to it. Well, how can you reconcile this? Viewership data shows Lord of the Rings of Power total watch time declined by over 51% in its third week. Now remember, they had the big 3-episode premiere. And then they had episode 4, which was widely regarded as the worst in the series, not just season. And then episode 5 came out, and then by that time, half of your already less than 60%, your 60% drop off from the conclusion of season 1 to the beginning of season 2. Like, we're delving into some crazy calculations in order to figure out that like 6 people are left watching this crap, and 5 of them are those reviewers. So maybe that's why you're so thankful that at least they're sticking around. New viewership data from Luminate reveals that Lord of the Rings of Power total watch time for its third week declined by over 51%. This is supposed to be the time when things are going to be ramping up, but don't worry guys, we got more battles this season because Tolkien's about battles. Data analytics company Luminate reports that Lord of the Rings of Power only garnered 372.7 million minutes watched for the week of September 6th through September 12th. And that's with 5 over-hour-long episodes out. It's only slightly better, now that I remember it, only slightly better than The Acolyte. But obviously that was referenced in the headline, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and compare the two. Variety reported, and we talked about that before, the show failed to chart in the top 10, but instead was 37th on Luminate's chart in its first week. Oh, but here you have it. Okay, yeah, streaming originals for television, September 6th through the 12th. You have Perfect Couple, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, Selling Sunset. Now, I don't know about the Perfect Couple, but I know that, yeah, there's reality TV trash, and then there's, just fantasy trash, and then Outlast, Worst Ex Ever, Chaos? I have no idea. The Accident, Bad Monkey, Fight Night, The $1 Million. I've never heard of any of that stuff. Like, I've heard of Selling Sunset for, obvious reasons. And then, yeah, The Secret Lives. I could just kind of deduce that, but I didn't know that there was a Mormon Wives one. And then, yeah, it's like, man, TV sucks. Holy shit, it sucks. Now, obviously, the second week should have gotten significantly more watch time because Prime Video and MGM Studios released 3 episodes right off the bat with a total runtime of 204 minutes. Yeah, well, the 4th episode, which debuted September 4th, only had a total runtime of 65 minutes, and the 5th episode is 61 minutes. Yeah, debuted on September 11th, or rather, if they were going to drop a catastrophe like that, they couldn't have picked a better day. day. However, the fact that the second week only hit a peak of 764.7 million, has to be disastrous for Prime Video. Given Nielsen reported back in 2022, the first week the show's 2-episode premiere raked in 1.253 billion minutes watched. That's now, okay, I ain't no mathematician. Okay, I got some A's in high school when I got the maths class, but last time I checked, a 1.253 billion is a little bit bigger than the 764.7 million, and you are doubling up the number of episodes released the second time around, and you got, what, like 60% of the minutes watched? Ooh, yeah, those first 2 episodes only had a total runtime of 132 minutes. Yeah, that's not great. Yeah, it's really not great. So, even if you give Prime Video the best case scenario, the show only brought in around 406 million viewers. That's way down compared to the estimated 9.5 million viewers the first season brought in. So I guess, hey man, he's still right. There's millions of people watching, but there's millions fewer. Actually, there's fewer people. There's more people who have left the show than continue to watch the show. But that's just the trolls, right? That's a decline of 57.2%. Oh man, they missed out on the Gund. How could you have missed out on such a great character like her? Luminate is not the only data analytics company to show that Prime Video Lord of the Rings of Power is a massive viewership fall off in its second season. Yeah, I haven't heard any updates from Samba TV, who was like, yeah, 1.8 for the first season and then 900 for the second. Don't worry about it. And yeah, the reviews, yeah, they just continue to be crap. But hey, people liked episode 5, or at least thought that it was the least worst of the series, I guess. They're all really bad, like really bad in episode 5. Like, that just sounds like a total catastrophe. I haven't heard a complete and total breakdown of it. EFAP's going to be doing 5 and 6, and I'm definitely going to be listening to that. But holy contrivance, Batman. You like the Balrog? Well, Dees almost found the Balrog because the ball just bounced like 200 miles in the opposite direction. It's not that bad, but it might as well be. But yeah, 63% of people fell off from the series premiere in 2022 to the conclusion. Yeah, but nevertheless, Prime Video attempted to refute much of the data by issuing an ambiguous claim. With 40 million global viewers and counting, what's your source? I made it the fuck up. It is the #1 worldwide series on Prime Video. Hey guys, it's $1 billion show, and it's the #1 show on our streaming service. Just trust us. Don't run any of the numbers. It's fine. But yeah, man, in reference to the whole there's trolls along the way, the strategy didn't work out for Lucasfilm and the Acolyte. It's unlikely to work out for Prime Video, MGM Studios, and Rings of Power. In fact, the Rings of Power is already at Acolyte levels. Yeah, exactly, because those numbers seemed eerily familiar. Luminate reports the show garnered 380.5 million minutes watched in the second week, and it fell to 262 million by its third week before falling to 232.2 million in its fourth week. And that show's fifth week, yeah, it fell out of the top 10 viewership, below 282 million. It'll be interesting to see what the Rings of Power trajectory looks like by the end of the season, because we're dealing with not very many people checking this stuff out. Amazon's going to say 40 million, but how many people are they going to try to say, hey, they came and they stuck around for the finale? Keep that 40 million in mind when they run back and try to tell you that it's the most successful finale in series history, like forever. Just trust us, bro. Nobody's talking about this show. All the coverage that I see is just how poorly constructed it is. Nobody's hating on it because of mod diversity. Oh my God, you guys have black Harfoots, or you have retarded Harfoots. It's just how an abomination of writing this is, how canon destroying it is, how it's weird. Like, who's this show actually for? Because they keep on making reference to Tolkien lore, so they think that, yeah, we'll go ahead and get those book guys that we already turned off in the beginning by condensing and putting things completely and totally out of place, like creating the 3 elven rings first, even though those were supposed to be made in secrecy after the other 16 were already created, how Anatar was supposed to appear before Sauron ever does, how Tom Bombadil is out in the Middle East. Like what are we doing? Why is he chilling out there in Rune? Was Gandalf or not Gandalf doing out there? What's with the dark wizard who's definitely not going to be Saruman? Yeah, definitely no. Why is this Shire a prophecy a la Jerusalem? Like, what are we doing out here? You guys have a bad show on your hands and the most joy. The only thing that gives me joy in life is seeing reviews of this show, just how bad it is, how silly it can get, and how much money Amazon is willing to burn. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.